Hi, I'm Dan, and welcome to Polar Currency Sidebar Friday and video number 58. I hope you all had a great 4th of July. I'm still hanging out at the lake with my family at the brother-in-law's for the 4th of July weekend and thought, what the heck? Let's do the intro and close to this Sidebar Friday from here. I'm weird, and I also admit that I'm kind of an eclectic currency wonk with a high appreciation for banknote artistry and ingenuity. But before I begin, I have to ask that you give some time to this video. Give it a chance. Remember, Sidebar Fridays are basically my shorts. I tell you about these notes, I was dumbfounded when I came across the banknotes issued by the Central Bank of Brazil from 1978 to 1985. From 1942 until 1994, the unit of currency for Brazil was called the Cruzeiros, Novo, and then just the Cruzeiro. Today, the currency is called the Real. There were 3 editions of the Cruzeiro, and we're going to dive into the 2nd edition, second type issue.
This might surprise you, but the 2nd edition second type replaced the 2nd edition first type. I know, shocker. Inflation in Brazil led to issuing the 2nd type along with the redenomination of the currency. The new notes didn't last long as inflation continued to rise, and by 1987 the 2nd type was replaced and demonetized by the end of that year. But who cares about that? This video is about an unbelievably creatively designed banknote series. Pardon my Portuguese pronunciations, but it's the best I can do. Are you ready? Check this out. Are you seeing 2 portraits on the 100? Or are you seeing just 1 portrait twice? The portrait is of Luiz Alves de Lima e Silva. He was a duke in Brazil and was prime minister from 1875 to 1878 and is considered the father of the Brazilian army. The reverse vignette continues the amazing symmetrical design. The note depicts a scene of a battle from the Cisplatin War in the late 1820s. How about the 200? Same thing. Isabel, Princess Imperial of Brazil, is portrayed. I'm not even going to attempt to say that, you can just read it. Officially, she was Empress of Brazil from 1891 to 1921. To her credit, she abolished slavery in Brazil in 1888. The reverse is a pictorial representation of ex-slaves in the Brazilian countryside. The vignette most likely is referring to Princess Isabella's abolition of slavery. Manuel Deodoro de Fonseca is pictured on the 500. He was the leader of the coup that toppled Emperor Pedro II. He became the first president of the Brazilian Republic from 1889 to 1891. The 500 back has an illustration representation of a meeting of the parliamentarians. This is referring to the proclamation of the Republic coup in 1889. A big deal in Brazil. José Maria de Silva Paredes Jr., the Baron of Rio Branco, is on the face of the 1,000 Cruzeiros. In the latter half of the 1800s, he was a Brazilian noble, diplomat, author, historian, politician, and professor, and is considered to be the father of Brazilian diplomacy. The reverse has the vignette of a Cervez transit, or a theodolite. The instrument overlaps a topographical 1904 map of the final borders between Brazil and Argentina. And finally, the 5000 has the portrait of Humberto de Alencar Castillo Branco. He was one of the leaders of the 1964 Brazilian coup d'etat that overthrew and ended the 4th Brazilian Republic, if you're keeping track, and maybe wasn't such a great guy, and we'll leave it at that. The 5000 Cruzeiros reverse has the illustration of a hydroelectric dam. The dam is overlaid by satellite dishes, both referring to energy and telecommunications technology for Brazil. After seeing these notes, I had to find out who was behind the designs of these banknotes. Man, the Portuguese names just don't let up. Is there anyone just named Frank in Brazil? All right. The designer was Ulócio Sergio Barbosa de Magalhães, a famous Brazilian graphic designer who also designed the 2nd edition first type currency series, and his own symmetrical design replaced those. Hard to explain what he really did for his graphic art, but the Brazilians love him and celebrate his birthday annually to this day.
You have to admit those Cruzeiros are pretty cool notes. I mean, the design is almost psychedelic. And since you're still here, a big thank you for staying until the end. And for that, you get a reward, some inside scoop. The numismatic banknote project I'm working on, it's a banknote terminology book, and that's all you get from me now. Well, that's it for my Sidebar Friday. What's Up is Down video number 58. As always, I appreciate your time, and if you like what you see, please hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and feel free to leave a comment. Thanks for checking in.